Hey, so this year, as we know, was just another confirmation of what's going to be coming in the future. And yeah, it's bleak. It's pretty bleak. It's the end of free speech. It's the end of biological science. It's the end of a lot of things. There's no more dislikes on YouTube, so propaganda can be more easily spread, and people aren't going to scroll to the comments as easily. You know, uh, for this year, I know there's a Lord. I know there's a God, because every year I discover something revolutionary or something I didn't even know. So I was reading Nietzsche a couple days ago, like 2 days ago, and he was talking about the Septuagint and the Greek translation versus the Hebrew translation of the other Old Testament Bibles. And like even Nietzsche knew stuff that I barely found out about, in 2019 or something. Or 2020. And just, we need to have a much broader perspective, because some people will know things that you didn't know they knew about. Nietzsche also knew Francis Bacon was Shakespeare, and I didn't know that until this year either. But I've been reading Nietzsche, quote unquote, since 2004 is when I first picked up Nietzsche. During the Venus transit, where you're supposed to get new teachers into your life. And then the Venus transit of 2012, I found the Groxt on the internet, who of course showed me all the Illuminati symbols that are everywhere. And these are great teachers, and these astrological alignments 100% correspond to my life, my experience. So if they don't correspond to yours, that's fine. But for me, it's real. Anyway, this year for me, 2021, was about Francis Bacon being Shakespeare. I read about 15 Shakespeare plays this year. Very impressed with myself. And I was reading Spark Notes for each act afterwards, so I actually knew what's going on. I'm not just putting it on and like, la-di-da, like I'm trying to pay attention, trying to keep up with the plot, all the crazy words being used. But mainly that Francis Bacon also is the founder of Freemasonry, y'all. And the fact that my whole channel is about exposing secret society symbols and, weird spiritual truths, I think it's quite perplexing. Okay, he is an Aquarius like me, and he has many other similar traits as me, and I really, really feel spiritually connected to him. Not as much as Nietzsche, but definitely Francis Bacon he's underrated. I mean, he helped do the KJV 1611 Bible, but no one knows about it. He was literally number 2 to King James. And then he did the Shakespeare plays. No, he gets no credit for either of these things either. That's why it's also a hint that it could be true, because he's modest. He literally said in a letter to someone that he's a concealed poet. Okay, we've gone into it before. Okay, so 2021's about that primarily, mostly, but it's also about the Yahweh beast thing. I still don't know what to make of it, but there is something there. There is something that can finally possibly explain all the evil things that God did in the Old Testament. This is big news. This is great news. This is good news. This is the good news. If you think the Old Testament is a little harsh, which it is, this Yahweh versus Elohim thing completely 100% explains it. Okay? Exodus 13:16 is the same as Revelation 13:16, where it says to get the mark of the beast in your right hand or in your head. That's what Yahweh says to the Jews in Exodus 13:16. Put a mark on your hand and in your head to signify you're my flock. I mean, there's just all these signs, and Jesus was tempted by the devil for 40 days and 40 nights. The person in the Bible to do something for 40 days and 40 nights was Moses in the desert with Yahweh. Okay? I'm not saying everything is wrong, but Jeremiah 8:8 says the pen of the scribes is in vain, and that some of the people might either be deceived or be deceiving, aka Paul in some of his questionable verses. And yet Romans is Paul, and that's where predestination comes in, and I'm a huge predestination person. So again, it's never black and white with me. I can always see the other side of the grass, and it's not always greener. It's sometimes scarier. Either way, I'm moving forward, I think. I was a little more stagnant this year than I wish, but whatever. The New Year's, by the way, is Saturn worship. It's the season of Capricorn right now. The Capricorn's ruled by Saturn, aka Satan, aka the deceiver, the totalitarian. A lot of rulers have hard Capricorn aspects. Like Hitler, he had Mars and Jupiter in Capricorn, the totalitarian dictator. Okay, so just want power and authority. That's why a lot of famous people have Capricorn, because they want to be recognized by the world, you know, but the world is stupid, so that's a pretty low standard for me because I'm Aquarius. I want to specifically have people not understand and think about it for more than 2 seconds instead of it being catchy immediately. And that's why James Joyce, he kind of seems like a Capricorn, like he's trying too hard. But that's his ascendant sign, so he seems like a Capricorn. His rising is Capricorn, but his sun sign is Aquarius, February 2nd. And by the way, I'm on the last chapter of Ulysses. It's the second time I'll be finishing it. First time I finished it was literally in 2012, the 90-year anniversary of Ulysses. And now I'll be finishing it. I literally have about 40 pages left. I'll be finishing it, you know, a month before the 100th anniversary, which is February 2nd, 2022. It came out February 2nd, 1922, his birthday. So it's literally 2-2-2-2. It's all intentional. James Joyce is the weird, you know, Aquarius, Moon in Cancer, like me. So he's creative and deep, you know, but still trying to be truthful and not just creative for creative sake. Anyway, I'm rambling again because that's what I do. I hope y'all have a safe Saturn New Year, even though I go by the Jewish calendar and the Chinese zodiac. So the Aquarius new moon is the actual official Chinese New Year. Okay, so a lot of Capricorns, they think they're some zodiac animal Chinese sign, and then they read it like, I'm not that. That's because you're the year before, because the Chinese New Year isn't usually until February or late January. Anyway, I might be playing video games with my friends online, because yes, I do have friends, but I see them online because I live in a different town from them. So yeah, I'm not just a loner person. I do have sun in the 12th house, just like you know, Keanu Reeves. I like my privacy. Kind of a loner guy. You know, I still have friends that I grew up with that I'm gonna, you know, play video games with and fart around with. Because a lot of people with this channel, they don't think I have a sense of humor or something, but like, I only use this channel to spread truth to people who are interested in truth. When you hang out with me, I'm not talking about this shit 24/7 because it's exhausting and boring. And I know this, don't worry. I'm a human, don't worry. But if you want to start, you know, talking philosophy or stuff, I'll give you my opinion. I just won't scold you for it, and we can still hang out. That's the issue these days. People have a huge distinguishing problem. Well, if we don't believe the same thing, we can't hang out. No, you know, we can talk about it. We just, if that's not our only reason we're hanging out, then it shouldn't trump any other reasons we're hanging out, you know, to use that word. So all my friends know I'm neutral. I'm not neutral so much as libertarian. I already made that video about why I don't vote and why I hate politics. Spirituality is above politics. I'll say it. And a lot of political people will say, well, that's below politics. You need to exercise your right and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, that's fine. That's going to be what most people do. But if you're spiritual, you know God's in charge. You want gun rights, move to Texas. Like, you have the right to move to whatever, the 50 states or whatever you want. So if you want weed rights, go to Colorado and California. If you want gun rights, go to Georgia and Texas, you know.